Hello. How's everyone today? Doing all right. Understandable. Our friend guest, so he gets a little bit of leeway. Technical difficulties. Yes, sir. Let's see. We've got Inktober or Brandtober coming up. Our version of Inktober. That's Doctor Doom. Glory to Duveria. On Discord, it's Pepsilorian, but on TikTok, it is now the flag of Duveria. Yep. I gotta balance both the OCs at the moment. It's kind of weird doing it from the same page, but we'll see how it goes. There we go. Yeah, I was having some issues on my end too. My stream was not updating to where I could see everybody, so it was still saying the podcast hadn't started yet. So he says he's now a speaker. Make sure your stuff's not muted.
Hello? Hello?
There.
Yeah, having a few technical difficulties. Thank you. Hmm.
I was just laughing. Uh, Doctor Doom versus Pizzium Primarch. Glory to Duviria.
That sounds that idea sounds extremely awesome.
Thank you. Yes, that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get into that, Cardboard Historian, I haven't talked with you much myself in the Discord. Could you tell me a bit about yourself?
But yeah, well, first of all, my name is Xavier, and I think I started uh the cardboard stuff when I was about the age of 11, and it really got serious when I reached the age of 13. And well, I saw one thing. I think it was an AK-47, and then
Yeah.
then immediately I started looking into World War One, and I think during around this time I was thinking like, damn, I'm not gonna like in this lifetime I'm probably not gonna be able to handle as much like historical items. So I just thought I'm gonna go ahead and make it.
Right.
So and that's where the thing cardboard historian came from.
Oh, nice.
Crusader, yes. Yeah. I think you told me that the first Cardboard Crusader, like the Cardboard Crusader, like cardboard related to like cards, right? Pardon, can you ask that question again? I was doing some. Yeah. Yeah, it's called the Ferrani helmet. Um, yeah, I was so when it came to detail, when it comes to detail, I was going into yeah, you say it right. I do go extremely into detail because, like I said, I'm probably not going to be able to hold it in like I'll hold the actual item in my lifetime. So I try to get as close to it as possible. And you being Italian and me having a fascination with Italian equipment at that time, I just decided I'm going to do it. Yeah. Plus, the Italy, Italy, and just country, a lot of countries in general, even ones that don't exist anymore. They're even though they're not here, they still hold a ton of history. Yeah, and that's what I just want to feel like somebody from that time and see like what they see and what they would like potentially have. And I also want to feel it.
Get the complete visualization.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of other people do it just to look cool. I do. I personally do it. I love like looking cool, but it's mainly about yeah the previous reason, and also like when it's the content I put out. I don't wanna like half-ass it. Pardon my language, but you know, say I'm doing a TikTok. It's about a certain situation that happened back then. I want to kind of act it out, like you know, yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah. Sometimes they can be funny. Sometimes they can be a bit dark, but reasonable considering the timeline. Yeah, they're rare, but when they're rare, that means like they have like a bad backfire.
Yeah, those are nice. I really liked his the the full cardboard kit with like the night vision and the flak vest with the magazine holsters and all that.
Thank you.
Hmm. Same. Gotcha.
Warhammer is it's the lore of it is extremely deep. Like sometimes it can be a bit dark, but most of the time it's just very like great to look into.
But you can get extremely detailed in your in bulky props, like
Yeah,
especially Mhm.
Hmm.
All you'd really do to add more detail to those is, I mean, you could just add some like weathering and simple things like that if you wanted to go further in detail. But I mean, that's more just for cosmetic.
On cardboard, yeah.
It's true. That's true, but I mean, you can use. I guess this is kind of later on in the thing, but just a little simple thing you could do for cardboard without destroying it is just use really light acrylic paint or even like dust, and then spray on a light adhesive for it to dry, and then you get that dirty look. Hmm. Right, right. Oh yeah, stuff looks great.
I gotta agree with Marauder because like when like you paint something or like you change something up and like it kind of has a label and it
Hmm.
really doesn't match the label anymore.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of like talking, it's kind of like calling a taco or something else. Fuck, I don't remember.
Could you be
That
more
was a bad
specific?
example. So
Be more specific, please.
so like how do I explain it? Me personally, I prefer to use beige colors
Hmm.
when detailing my stuff
Hmm.
because say if I were to make it like the actual colors,
Hmm.
then people would probably think that I'm a cosplayer or that
Hmm.
it's probably not cardboard and plastic or other stuff.
That's true. That makes
Like
perfect sense.
I try to like emphasize that it's cardboard
Ah,
because plus the, the cardboard color already looks better enough. Say if I messed it up with the coloring, then it's done. It's done for.
gotcha. So see, that comes down to personal preference. So, like in your case, you're emphasizing it's cardboard, while to someone else, they may. I guess that's more of the cosmetic section of prop crafting, like depending on which level of cosmetic you want to go to. So, while in your case, you're emphasizing cardboard, someone else may want to emphasize the, like as Marauder said, bulky, cartoonish to stick more towards, say, like the comic book or artistic aspect. Then you have the realism or gritty, weathered aspect. And you may want to go
Yeah,
towards that.
exactly.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I was just about to mention that a lot of the I don't know if this is like a compliment or insult when it comes to TikTok, but a lot of the times, or I think last time, my last account was banned because one of my
Mm.
guns was way too detailed, and somebody reported it, or TikTok took it down because they thought it was an actual rifle.
Ironically, we actually were discussing something similar to that before the podcast, about um, something along those lines. But yeah, the TikTok
Yeah.
is kind of bad about that, especially if you're trying to use prop weaponry in there, because I've been flagged for that as well, and it was a Star Wars blaster. Um,
Hmm. Yeah, it's kind of like a safeguard.
yeah, That's true. That makes sense, and that's perfectly reasonable, especially just for locksmiths specifically. Right. No one's in the wrong when it comes to it. I mean, it's all art of some form. Um, I mean, you're good. That's like when you asked about well, you didn't ask, but you were inferring about to weathering about how you didn't know how to do it. I was offering, tips that I've experienced before that have worked well with cardboard. Not inferring for you to do it, but inferring that it's a thing that can be done. Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you just fine.
Speak one more time. Yeah, yeah, I can hear you. True.
Very true.
Mm. Yeah. We should
What's
probably
airsoft?
we should probably just have a whole safety section to an episode covering like that. Uh, just general rules and or tips and rules and stuff because there's a lot. Yeah, yeah. Or if you're dead set on painting it a dark color or black, at least put an orange tip on the end of it.
Yeah, they even do that in airsoft fields. Like, if you don't have an orange tip, they will straight deny you or kick you off the field.
Yep. Same
Or
thing with
maybe even ban you.
most conventions.
Yeah.
Mhm. Most conventions now won't even let you carry if you carry a modded Nerf or actually anything that shoots a projectile at all, they will check it to make sure the air tank has been decompressed or had a hole drilled through it, or if it has a rubber band mechanism of any kind, it's been removed, springs, all that. Yeah, even if it was built out of cardboard, and because like for example, your cardboard claws that have the mechanism that would be fine. But if you had built a cardboard replica that could fire a dart out of it, yeah, that they would want that mechanism removed. Correct. Yeah, correct. Which I guess that could move us on into some of the nitty gritty stuff as far as the process of building a prop. And starting off with that, just general safety concerns. Uh, an useful tip that I'll throw out before beginning any prop building process is eye protection. That just helps in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're working with like sandpaper, you may need to wear a dust mask or just like a
Yeah.
cloth mask because while like it may look okay if all that dust is getting in there, all that's like kind of like straw or cardboard dust. It's still dust, and it will get in your lungs and irritate your lungs.
Oh yeah.
And probably, yeah, uh, I think I think Marauder told me that once.
Yeah, that's a definite. And then also various fumes from different types of glues and resins you use, depending on what type. I mean, hot glue is not so bad as far as the fumes go, but it will burn you, of course. So just be careful on the hot ends, your hot tips. But if you're using something more aggressive like JB Weld or a high profile super glue or something that has like a really noxious fume, definitely use a mask of some kind in a well ventilated area. Yep. All right. No, the safety board. That's not for me.
I do. Um, I try to combine it into one process. Like, so what I do first is I find multiple pictures, kind of like a 360 of the prop I'm gonna do, and I try to memorize any minute detail that will be like somewhat significant when looked into closer. Say like here, my Gewehr 98 right here. I noticed that when you're the bolt right here, it has two little lugs that with a chamber or like where you chamber the bullet, and that can also be used or made into a function to where it can be added on. That a stripper clip can be put in there and without so, and I make some room for that. Marky, stop. Also, I try to match the length first. So like I get a tape roller and I do my first cut, and essentially what I do is off that cut I try to find anything that should be fixed. Then I make the final cut. The final cut is to ensure, all right, this is what the final project's gonna be. This is what how it's gonna be. This is how it is gonna be. Or this goes to my shoulder. This goes to my hand. Goes. This is where the barrel's gonna be, and I try to mark off anything internal, like the bolt that moves on my rifle. That part, I try to. Sorry, if my dog's playing in the background. So the bolt, that's probably the easiest part of the gun. the bolt was probably the easiest part of the gun because I had, I think, two other rifles before this one. It was, I think it was a Labelle, and it was a Car 98.
Yeah.
So after making the cut, I start, I start layering it, or at least I make the walls. I make the walls and I glue it down. Anything that needs to be like fixed, I fix it there. And if something needs to be done tomorrow, I write it down. And say it's like a small detail, I write it down. And anything that needs to be modified that is too risky to build or too risky to fix, I layer it first, give it to some support, and then I fix it there. Because there are some times to where like it takes you off so much, but you just have to have patience. Most of the process is just patience.
Yeah.
Um, before you do any of the actual like building, when you were talking about like measuring with your hand, where like the barrel goes there or the bolt goes there, do you and you were talking about getting different pictures, memorizing different angles. Do you ever print out any pictures or get any pictures of like very specific parts and create like any type of templates for your builds or anything like that?
No, most of it is just really eyeballing,
Okay.
and usually I have to go to a Wikipedia page to look at it, and when it comes to like very small details, I usually just save it on my phone and I put it like an album. And
Got
say if it's like a say a bayonet lug, which is like very small but a very important piece, then I take a screenshot of it
Mhm.
and I just go to bed and do it the next day.
Gotcha. Now, do you look up since you're this is just an assumption based on what you've said. Assume you're going for replica size.
Uh, replica size is hard to do. So
Okay.
like say I'm 5'4" or 5'3".
Okay.
I was 5'2" when I started making the cardboard gun. I'm 5'4" now. So I try to like downsize it to where I make myself look bigger,
Okay.
and so that like
Scale
say
it to you.
yeah. Plus, it's way easier to build. It's way easier to build it, and you gotta like take into account that when something's bigger and it's like very narrow and like long, say like old age rifle, from, like the 1900s, it's not gonna be. It's mostly about structural integrity
Mhm.
and endurance. So like the part that's I've had most problems with, even though it's shorter than the life size version, would be where the barrel is.
For your barrel, do you stick completely cardboard, like using like tubes and stuff, or do you use like any extra support, like a PVC pipe or a wood dowel rod, anything like that?
The barrel in itself is support as well as the cardboard that's inside of it.
Ah, okay. Mm, got you. Okay.
Uh, my shotgun, that's the case for the shotgun. But for the Mauser and everything else, that's a single piece. And usually, how I get that is, um, we have there's this dry cleaner, and due to me being an ROTC and me not having any use for those hangers, I would just cut the hanger, and I would use the cardboard that's on that hanger, and I would just
Uh,
use that.
tube.
Though I can do that. It's very easy to do that. The rolling part, the rolling part and trying to get it still and the size is probably the hardest part. But when it comes to gluing it in, it's easy. Yeah, that's what I do with my helmet, my modern day helmet, and it it really does it makes it shine more. It catches the eye. That's what like that. That's what you're saying, right? Yeah, it like the sudden change from a beige to pure white. Though it can't when working with paper, it can be very risky. It's like high risk, high reward type stuff because while uh, no, rolling paper, it's easy, but constructing with it is probably the hardest part because paper, it's flimsy. It's not. It doesn't hold that. It doesn't hold weight good compared to cardboard. It's that's why I just mainly use it, or I just always use it for detailing. I've never used it for structural integrity. Never.
Now, are you cardboard purist? Like completely make your prop out of cardboard, or is there any internal mechanism structures that you use for like additional builds?
I use paper, wood, tape, like masking tape. I use a lot of stuff. Though when it mainly comes to the detail, it's all just the cardboard color. So you really can't tell. Well, that's not a ball. It it's so it's thin cardboard wrapped around the wood piece with card with brown paper that has the same color as cardboard, and then I hot glued like a little dot onto the top of it, and then I just wrap that in cardboard to where it kind of it resembles the shape of a circle from like far away. So
Nice. Have you done any other detailing types? I guess similar to that ball method with the like, I don't know, say creating like I don't know, like a fake wood finish on like a butt of a gun, like using paper and wood glue, or not wood glue, but a hot glue, or
um,
ripples or thing like that.
can you explain?
Uh, like textures or anything like that, using like say paper and hot glue, kind of like how you described with that wood ball technique you mentioned there.
For texture,
Mhm.
I don't do much texture, but what I do is that I grab like a piece of wood, or like I grab like a piece of like say metal or ruler, and I will
Mhm.
smooth out. I will smooth out the side. I'll smooth out the edges of the cardboard to kind of like give it that kind of like give it that feel,
Okay.
and so that it lasts longer. Because from what I know, if you just have a jagged edge, it risks tearing more.
True. True.
So yeah, there are multiple types to either like round it. You can either do it after the project, or you can do it during or the start of the project. During the start of the project, I really do not like to do that because that goes into having to move around and adjust the system that I already had in place. And potentially, if I mess up something, then I would have to finish. I would have to just throw away the whole thing.
Mm.
Yes. Yes. I've thought about it. I've actually done it. I've tried to, but in the long term, or say when it comes to just like storage, I've just decided that it's not worth it because I've already tried. I've already ripped my Mauser apart trying to create the little gun or little thing that goes into. Well, actually, my Mauser or my Gewehr 98 rifle, it wasn't meant to have a magazine. I've had to rip it out and I had to tear it apart from the inside and kind of carve it out. And I didn't want to add anything more because say like say one of the pieces gets caught on the belt or the bolt and it potentially knocks it out of the trail that I have in place, or maybe if something goes wrong and it's inside, then I would have to risk, you know, damaging the bolt. So I just decided I'm not going to do it.
You had to give, I don't know, a few tips to someone or a novice in building a cardboard, cardboard gun. What would be your main tips to give them?
Um, I guess it would be to focus on functionality and detail and try to learn from what other people have because how I learned is that I looked at what other people did. I wouldn't be here where I am today. I would probably still be, you know, at the part where I probably still have my Crusader helmet. So just looking at other people's stuff. Yeah, but don't steal either. I don't yeah. Yeah, like make it romance. Yeah.
And if you had to summarize your process from beginning to end, how would you do that?
Wait, like one word or like just summarize it?
Just summarize. Like if you started a project right now and went through it from beginning to end, all the way through to completion of a selected rifle or pistol or something, if you could describe it in a summary, how would you do that?
Well, what I would do is research, detailing, first draft, final draft, construction, finishing, and then detail.
Not trying to drill you on questions, and just trying to get more ideas of your process for anybody potentially looking into it. That way, it could kind of help them, along with their process.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's one of the things we're trying to do with like the podcast is expand on different forms of prop creating, whether it's in cardboard, foam, or however, and help with the Discord, so that way each person that comes in, they can have all types of different forms of information to help. So the more information they have, the more comfortable they are with the process that they develop. That way they won't get discouraged.
yeah,
Can you help me find a
And encouragement to every creative.
yeah. Help them develop styles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, cardboard historian. I know you. Well, actually, I guess this question is mostly to both of y'all. I know from what y'all were saying earlier, you guys stopped at. Oh, I wouldn't say stop, but preferred uh, cardboard as it is. But speaking on the cosmetic front, and that doesn't involve paint always. Um, what are y'all's personal preferences when it comes to like the cosmetic front in y'all's creations? Like, what do you go for exactly? Yeah, sure.
Oh yeah, go ahead, man.
Hmm.
I try to mix in detail with functionality, and also when I try to focus on the beige color. Yeah, yeah, a lot like you. But also, I don't try to like make it to where everything just looks the same. I try to make some things different. I try to like have some cardboard different colors to where like, it points out. So I don't use like the same cardboard, like the one piece of cardboard or one cardboard box when it comes to like one project. I use multiple boxes, different shades, different textures, and it also ties into structural integrity because I focus on longevity.
Mm.
Because here, which one of y'all likes to repair y'all stuff like constantly? No, this is
Me.
right.
Yeah, because go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. I suffered that problem with I think my first rifle or my no my third rifle, where like the bayonet would start to bend the barrel forward, and due to the barrel being paper, that would result in the barrel breaking off. So I had to make a new one. So yeah, nothing lasts forever, but you learn from it, and then that piece lasts longer. Then when that breaks, you know what you went wrong, and you learn from that. Then eventually, you start to notice that each time you make something new, it lasts exponentially longer than the last thing. But don't get me wrong, everything comes to an end. Everything comes to an end because like even though you made it correctly, like every minute detail is perfect, it's still cardboard. It will still rot. It will still drag in moisture. It's still paper.
Yep.
Yeah. I recently obtained this one thing. It's called a scratch guard
Scotch.
outdoor water shield. It's an ultimate protection against elements, repels rain and snow.
Yeah, we use it on our shoes a lot for work, but it works great for cardboard as well. So does lacquer.
Yep.
Hairspray works pretty well too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. The only drawback of hairspray is don't use it on the inside of cardboard armor because if
It'll
moisture,
rot.
yeah, moisture hits that, you'll get sticky, all that stuff. So if you do use it on the inside of it, like wear a layer in between of it, and you should be fine. But it will help, like protect the integrity of it for a little longer, and it's a fairly cheap alternative to other materials. it's it's just something cheap, or you can use that there's a like a fabric spray adhesive glue. It's very similar to hairspray. I don't know the name of it off the top of my head, but it's just like fabric spray adhesive. That's like the generic, term for it. You can get that too, and it works very similar. Because that's like how y'all was talking about longevity. I do the same thing with like my stuff, whether it's cardboard or 3D print or foam. Because I got a so I travel a good bit, so I have to constantly pack up my stuff, unpack it, and then you're running through people, and people bump into your stuff all the time. So over time, it gets chipped, dinged, ripped. You're moving in it constantly, and so like when build something, try to build it to last. Internal structures like adding extra tape or whatever, and then just to keep like stuff from getting scratched, you got to figure out something to add it, whether it's a clear coat of paint, hairspray, or lacquer or whatever. Yeah, especially if you film content because you're constantly putting on or using the prop. And even though you may only be using it for, I don't know, 5 to 10, 20 minutes at a time, you're doing that, 2 to 5 times a week or whatever and moving it about. So that provides general wear and tear on it. And that happens on all levels, whether it's cardboard, foam, or plastic. Or if they sit, they'll get dry rot. Yep. Routine maintenance. This helps.
Your choice. Yeah, that sounds good. So what I do is it's a bit symbolic, but I think I've done it for every single project. So what I do is I essentially I destroy it. Like I stomp on it, burn it, whatever I do. I don't like putting it in the trash.
I like
And
that.
sometimes I scrap them and I put them in like the recycle bin. Or say if they have like some parts that are useful, then I'll take them off. I'll take them off and I use for other projects. Don't get me wrong. I have a ton of cardboard, but say if there's like a piece of wood and the piece of wood that's hard to get inside of one, I will take it out. I will like rip it apart. So, and one other part that I do is sometimes I will cut off a piece of of the project and I will put it. I would like store it away to like kind of have like a reminder or like kind of like have like a remember or like a reminder that I made this, and that's how it ended. That's the last part of it. Because you know how people like kind of remember with like smells and like colors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's so when I saw like when I see like that one specific piece, I'll think of what happened with that project, what I could do better, or what I will do better, and what went wrong with that project. Yeah. Yes, I respect that. It's like sentimental value. Like you know like that like that one project that like you made years ago. You remember how you made it, but you also remember that damn, just because of the way I made this when I had less experience, it's harder to fix now. So why am I still repairing it? Wait, you're making a new pickup house cosplay? I see. Alrighty, I guess we should end it here. Thank you.
Glad to have you.